Hi all, this is Professional Skills 2. I'm Julia, and today we're talking about how to create a good CV. So what I've got for you today is a good example of a CV and then a bad example of a CV. These have both been created on Canva, which is a free online tool. I love it. I think it's really great for doing a lot of different things. So here, this CV is quite boring in terms of design. It's very plain. I haven't used any color, and that's intentional. This is just kind of the bare minimum that you can do when making your first little bit more graphic CV, not on Word. So this is what a lot of employers expect today. They expect a little bit more of a professionally designed CV, not just something that's done on a word processor, but luckily it's actually really easy to do, and I'll go through how to do that with you in a minute. So you see, these days, you just have this kind of title that's CV of with your name. You can even just take this off entirely and just have your name plus your title. So I've used the very generic media practitioner, but obviously you use what is relevant to your work experience. A lot of these templates have the option to include a personal bio. This isn't always necessary. You can leave it off. I've got one on my CV. I didn't always, so it is a personal choice. If you do use it, it needs to be very short and to the point, so roughly this long. And the whole thing with these is that they need to be about who you are rather than what you've done. So a little bit of an explanation of the kind of person that you are in the workplace. So the thing I like about this CV, and it's obviously a fake CV, just created on the fly, is that your work experience and education history are front and center. It's the first thing that you see, and they're next to each other. So you don't decide which one you see first, you just see it right there. So I'm going to start with work experience. So obviously with work experience you need to start with you decide which bit of information is more important and stick with that. I've decided that my job title is most important. So I've got the first thing is social media manager, and the company was called Random Company, and then the dates that it started from. So January 2020 to present is how you indicate that. And give yourself a little bit of time and think about exactly what you did in all of these jobs. So it shouldn't be really, really basic. You shouldn't say something like handling companies' accounts. You need to be specific with this. So create and manage the above company's social media presence on platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Then your employer knows that you're comfortable with all of these platforms. And then also respond to customer queries on these platforms. This indicates that you're good with customer service, and you know how to deal with people. You're a people person. You've indicated that skill without actually saying, I'm a people person, which, okay, great, everybody says that. Next is a job that is not relevant to what you might be offering. So in other words, you are a media practitioner looking for, obviously, work in media, but it is experience that you had. So you were a cashier, and it was at Clicks Pharmacy, and you had this job for just about 2 years, which indicates to a potential employer, okay, they don't want you to be a cashier necessarily, but they do want to know that you can stick with a job for 2 years. So this indicates that you are loyal and you can stick around for a decent amount of time. And here are the duties that you might have done. So you ring up items and give change to customers. Great, they trust you with money. That's a good thing. Restock the shelves and deal with customer returns, complaints, and queries, again indicating that you are a people person. You know how to deal with difficult people, easy people, and just answer general questions. Next, we've got your education history. So remember, always with all of this, it is presented in a reverse chronological order. What that means is that the most recent thing is first. So here we've got January 2020 going back to 2019, 2017. And here in your education history, you've got your most recent qualification first, followed by anything that's there. So this imaginary person has got high school, and they went straight from high school to Boston. So you start off with the institution, so Boston Media House, the actual name of the qualification, so not just diploma, not diploma in media, states exactly what your qualification is called, and then the year that you started to present, because you are still currently doing it. Obviously, when you graduate, you'll say 2018 to, in this person's case, 2020. That's only once you've graduated. Thereafter, you can list your high school education, grade 12, make sure, we'll go through the errors in a minute, but yes, grade 12, you got that in 2017. You can list your subjects if you want to for both of these. That's really only if you don't have too much information to present. So normally this, if you've got work experience, this level of detail for your education is perfectly fine. Next are your hobbies. Now this person played rugby and they were the captain, so they stayed team captain of the Eagles regional rugby team. This is great because it means that you are good at teamwork. You can play a team sport. But also it shows that you are good at leading because you were the team captain. Next to singing in a church choir, shows that you attend church, which might be a good or bad thing depending on the organization you're applying to. And then the last one is volunteering at a children's home, a pet shelter for abandoned bunnies, whatever it is that you do. This all needs to be true. Don't use etc. on your actual CV. But yeah, this all does need to be true. Never ever lie on a CV. It's not going to end well, trust me. Then your references. You only need to include 2 references. No, really more than that. Make sure you contact your references so that they know they're going to be your references. And you need to have their name, the company that they work for. You can include the position as well, their telephone number, and the email address if you have it. And then at the bottom, I've got my contact details and how you can get in touch. Oh, sorry, not my contact details, this random person's contact details, how you can get in touch with them if they would be successful for this position. So I've just put these little things here. That's pretty much all of the design I've done on the CV. It's very basic. An email address, a LinkedIn link, as well as a cell phone number. Okay, it's quite basic, not incredibly pretty. But that's fine for now because it's very structured, very consistent. Here's a bad CV. So first of all, pictures. No professional CV should ever really include a picture unless you are specifically asked for a picture. But if they're asking you for a picture, maybe consider why they're asking you for a picture. Why do they need to know what you look like? Okay, so curriculum vitae of Enzo Guthled Lamini. No real reason to spell out curriculum vitae. We know that that's what a CV is. Top media executive. Let's go through the CV and check, but I'm not sure that this person is going to prove to be a top media executive. So remember here we just had media practitioner. Be realistic with what your title is. So this person's gone to written a personal bio. They've got, I'm always striving to be on top of my work and I need a company who'll support me to achieve all my dreams. Okay, everything's about you then. I worked at a random media company before. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Then here the problem is that their skills are front and center. They almost seem to be more important than anything else. And we'll come back to that in a second. So I've made a lot of typos, spelling and grammar errors throughout the CV. That's really just to indicate that you can't make these kinds of mistakes. You have to go through your CV with such a fine-tooth comb because making a spelling mistake really can be the difference between getting the job and not. Make sure that you write professionally as well. So here in the first CV, the title of this job was social media manager. This one, he's got social media guy. Okay, so it wasn't a formal job. You haven't capitalized and you've spelled media wrong. And you were the media guy. Okay. Random company with the C small, needs to be capitalized. And January 2022, still working there. Okay, thank you for that information. Remember here we did it 2020 to present, or current is fine. I did all their social media accounts. So we try and avoid speaking in the first person in CVs. And you remember here, this was a lot more comprehensive, mentioning what social media accounts they are. We're talking about other aspects like customer service too. Okay, next is cashier clicks. I mostly just operated the tills. Okay, that doesn't sound like much at all. When you think about it, you'll see that you probably did a lot more than just operate the tills. And what does operating the tills really mean? Hobbies, reading. Okay, cool. Everyone reads. Designing adverts. Really? Do you really design adverts in your spare time, or are you just trying to say, I'm such a top media professional that I design adverts just for fun. Researching all topics that interest me. Again, is that really a hobby? Customer service. Again, is that really a hobby? Do you just go to random shops and talk to people about customer service? I doubt that. And then gym. And gym isn't really a good example of a hobby because it doesn't really indicate anything about you. Skills, communication, attentions, spelled wrong, to detail. isiZulu in English. Remember, if you're talking about isiZulu, you are saying Zulu in Zulu. The CV is in English, so just Zulu in English is fine. Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, spelled wrong. Working alone and in groups. Okay, everybody, that's a strange thing to say. Working alone and in groups. So just think about those skills. Next, Boston Media House, small m, small h. Currently studying third year or 2021 are both incorrect because we need to know information about how long this has taken you. Also, 2021, that's in the future. So as much as I'm behind all of you guys to graduate in as short as time as possible, that's in the future. You never know what's going to happen. This year, 2020, has taught us that. And then this person has listed every single one of their subjects. So great that you did academic literacy, but unfortunately most employers will not know what academic literacy is, nor will they know what DMC is. A lot of these subjects are meaningless. Maximum what you can do is here. You can have a little section underneath this present. You can say major subject, journalism, elective subjects or minor subjects, and then you can list your 1 or 2 minor subjects if you want to highlight that. And then, we've got South Africa High School, small h, small s. Grade 12 degree is something that a lot of people say. Now, the reason that people say this is that they get mixed up because you get a degree entry or a diploma entry. So make sure that you don't write grade 12 degree. You can write grade 12 and then in brackets with degree entry if you want to. This person has chosen to give all of their results. When we look at them, we see that they're not really that much to write home about, so I would say leave that off entirely. Then we've got references here. Okay, so first of all, in Corsi, who on earth is this person? Where do they work for? And why are they a reference for you? Next, same thing with Karika at Boston. This is the general Boston phone number. Same thing with this website. So make sure that you give your references exactly like this, with their name, their company, their position, if you want to include that, their cell phone number, and their email address. And then finally, their contact details. So they've given me a terrible email address. Seen here, it needs to be professionalmyname@gmail.com. So really, their email address should be enzogutledlamini@gmail.com or any change of that. This person is goldengorgeous@gmail.com. I don't take them seriously for a second. Their phone number, they've left the brackets off the other side of the dialing code. Then for LinkedIn, I don't care. Look, your employers don't care about your Instagram or Twitter feeds unless they ask for them. There's not a real reason to put them down unless they ask for. Your LinkedIn profile could be important to include, but remember that just by typing your name into LinkedIn, they're not going to find you, so you need to include that actual link. So just very quickly, you can find all of these on Canva, these templates. So if you go to templates, so you can sign up for free. Go templates, personal, resume, and you can find a whole lot of really gorgeous CV templates. And if you go into them, you can really edit them in any way possible. So this is the one that I used. Use this template, and I just deleted this photo, but now you can change this so that you are using colorful designs. Same thing with Google Docs. So you can find these templates on Google Docs, and you can change the colors so that they pop a little bit better. Obviously, still keep it professional, still keep it classy. But yeah, that is how you go about creating your professional CV. Please get in touch if you have any questions. Good luck.